Welcome to another exciting episode of the Career Boost podcast of the Medical Portfolio Hub. My name is Ricardo Ladeiras Lopes and I'm your host. Today, we have a very special guest, Professor João Morais. With decades of experience and countless contributions to both clinical practice and research, Professor João Morais has not only shaped the landscape of cardiology in Portugal, but has also left a global impact with distinguished roles in both the Portuguese and European societies of cardiology. It is fair to say that Professor João Morais is a dynamic force in cardiology, embodying the energy, innovation, and dedication that serve as a true inspiration for the next generation of young physicians. Professor João Morais, thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be here with us.
Thank you, Ricardo. It's a great pleasure for me to be here, and many thanks for your kind introduction. Yes, I have done a lot of things in my life. I'm retired from public administration. I retired in the last 2 months. Now I'm fully dedicated to research. I'm also dedicated to teach the youngs in private medicine, of course. But life is life. In June, I got 70, and in Portugal, with 70, we need to be retired. So actually, I'm retired.
But very active, very active. So
I'm trying to do my best.
I will start by asking you to give us a quick 1-minute summary of your journey in cardiology.
It's not easy, but I can summarize in a simple way. My career started with a fellowship in 1987 in Coimbra University Hospital, a big general hospital in Portugal, a big cardiology department. Then I achieved the position of co-chairman of coronary care unit. Was really important for me because I dedicated, in the beginning of my life, fully dedicated to intensive care. Later in 2011, I accepted a big challenge to move for a small hospital in the area, St. Andrea Hospital, almost without cardiology division. And my challenge was to create a new division. So what was a great experience for me because this represents 50% of my entire life dedicated to cardiology. In 2014, a new challenge for my life, I got a PhD in the Porto Medical School, a late PhD, because in 2014 I was 60, so it's a very late PhD. It was not very important for me at that time. And regarding scientific career, I can mention two or three things. I was president of the Portuguese Society of Cardiology between 2017 and 2011. And within the last 20 years, I was involved with a lot of activities and positions inside the European Society of Cardiology. I was chairman of the working group of thrombosis, an important position in my career. And currently, I'm president of the European and Mediterranean League against thrombotic disease. So this is a very, very brief summary of my activities.
Looking back, who has been your biggest inspiration or role model in your professional journey, and how did it influence your path?
It's always difficult to respond because I crossed in my life, so I had the opportunity to work with a lot of people at the European level, and not only at the European level, also at the American level, because I was involved in a lot of clinical trials, different task force and different working groups. And I had this opportunity to work with a lot of people. But thinking rapidly, I think that there are two persons particularly important. When you distinguish a model, we are distinguishing two ways: people that are influencing us or people that we admire. So Professor Lars Valentin is a great scientist in Europe, and probably is my model in terms of science, in terms of medical practice. If you can imagine, the most important fields of Professor Lars Valentin are also my fields of interest: acute coronary syndrome, thrombosis, antithrombosis, atrial fibrillation. And I learned a lot of Professor Lars Valentin because I had the opportunity to work with him in the working group of thrombosis and to work with him in clinical trials as a culture leader, as a member of the steering committee in clinical trials. So Professor Lars Valentin is amazing because a very kind, very, very kind scientist, and is very, very creative, I had the privilege to invite him to come to Portugal for the Portuguese Congress of Cardiology. Was a great journey with Professor Valentin. But my second model, I never worked with him, but I admire him. It's Professor Valentin Pusser. Probably most of cardiologists in Portugal admire Professor Valentin Pusser. And my admiration for Professor Valentin Pusser is for two reasons. Because he's a scientist, he's very creative, he's putting in parallel new concepts. A good example is subclinical atherosclerosis. A lot of things done by Professor Valentin Pusser in this field. But at the same time, Valentin Pusser is working in the undeveloped countries doing things in terms of prevention. It's amazing. In schools, in Vietnam, in Colombia, in different parts of the world. So I admire too much Valentin Pusser, and it's a good point of inspiration for me, and I'm sure for a lot of cardiologists in Portugal.
Is there anything you wish you had known about pursuing a career in cardiology when you were just starting out that might have changed your approach or expectations?
It's difficult. Since the beginning, I admired cardiovascular medicine. When I started, while I need to decide my future as a specialist, for me, there are two important things. Hospital, I always intend to work in the hospital. Hospital is part of my life. And when I think about a good specialty for me, cardiology was immediately. I never realized any other specialty to work. 35 years ago, cardiology as currently embraces prevention, high technology for diagnosis and treatment, intensive care, all outstanding fields. 35 years ago, my question was, how is possible one simple guy embraces all of these fields? So within my career, I tried to learn how to do this. And my decision was clear. I embraced two parts, intensive care. I'm dedicated to intensive care for more than 20 years. And I also embraced the field of prevention and patient care. Technology is not part of my life. Technology only intensive care. Okay, we need technology in intensive care unit. Intensive care, we need technology. But I'm not working for technology. I'm not. I'm not interventional cardiologist or electrophysiologist. No. My perspective was okay. In cardiology, what is possible to do? Prevention, patient care, and intensive care. Okay. In the beginning, intensive care. The second part of my life, prevention, patient care, and of course organizing a department. This is my career. But cardiology is a very difficult specialty because it embraces so many fields, so many areas that for the youngs, I believe that it's not easy in the beginning of a career to decide. I frequently ask my youngs, okay, what's your perspective for cardiology? Oh, I like very much it unit, but I also love interventional cardiology. I think electrophysiology is not bad. Echocardiography is fantastic. So, okay, but you should decide what your intention for the future. And it's difficult in the beginning. So it is something that you are learning across our career. Every year we decide something different and reach the time that, okay, this is really what I want to do. So what was the same with me?
We are talking about career, and in every career, challenges arise. Can you tell us about the most significant roadblocks you encountered in your career and how you managed to overcome them?
I'm a fortunate guy because in my entire life I did not face really important roadblocks. But let me mention one of the things. The first thing is the country that we live. Portugal is not an easy country to work in, and you know. The health system in Portugal is not too much organized. And several times in my life, it was needed to fight against bureaucracy. So probably this is one of the most important roadblocks. Um, the administration in Portugal is not prepared to facilitate our job. This is stupid. This is stupid because we have a fantastic health national system. You know, we are one of the most important health national systems in Europe and probably in the world. But bureaucracy and administration is not prepared for facilitate our job is absolutely clear. And in the second part of my life, as I mentioned, organize a division, organizing a department, um, doing things to create new things was not easy. And the other thing is that the system is not how could I say meritocratic. Right? I think that is the correct word in English. And this is a big roadblock because you are not facilitating meritocracy. Sometimes you are facilitating bureaucracy instead of meritocracy. So this is the most important roadblock. And I managed with these roadblocks, of course. But as I mentioned in the beginning of my response, I'm a fortunate guy because I did not face really important roadblocks as other colleagues are facing in Portugal.
I totally agree with those two points. Shifting gears now to a different topic, gender disparities in medicine have been a long-standing issue. Do you feel that these disparities still exist today, and have you observed any examples of them?
Um, yes, but personally, probably why was not something that I have to face, but it is clear. Gender disparity do not exist in terms of accessibility of the career. Everybody can access the career, but sex disparity still exists in terms of accessibility to leadership positions. This is clear. It still exists in public administration. This exists in the university. This exists now in our hospitals. Sometimes when you have a man and a woman and someone will decide, I feel that sometimes ladies are less due to different reasons. It's a big discussion, not only in Portugal, all over the world. We are discussing sex disparities, but unfortunately, it is true. And it's interesting because nowadays, more than 50% of physicians are women. Uh, More than 50% of students in medicine are women. But when you look at different departments in our hospitals, when you look at the leaders, the number of women leading departments is less than 50%. Absolutely. In the university, is the same. So I do believe that some gender disparities still exist in our society. This is very bad. We are improving. We are improving. I think, or at least I need to think that we are improving. But answering to your question, yes, still exists.
In the medical portfolio hub, we are very focused on critical thinking that is crucial but challenging to develop and sustain. How do you cultivate your critical thinking skills, and what advice would you give to others trying to do the same?
It's almost impossible to be a good leader if you don't develop a real critical thing. So this is part of our job. I can say that it's the basis of all our job in terms of leadership. So, in my opinion, the only way to develop this critical thinking is to continuously discuss inside your team. So, this is my perspective. I try to do this all my entire life, particularly when I was responsible for the division or the department. I've always tried to put in confront different opinions and different ways to solve a problem. Okay, I decide, of course. I'm the leader. Everybody is waiting for my decision, but my decision should be shared by others. And when we need to listen to the young generation, we are always challenging us ourselves. So, and the first thing to do, in my perspective, is to be critical of ourselves. So, before criticizing the others, we need to self-criticize ourselves. So, I learned this long time ago, since the beginning. It's impossible to criticize the others if you don't criticize yourself. So, I do believe, and I try in my life, I try to share this perspective with the others, particularly with the young generation. Please, you should be critics of yourselves before to criticize the others. So I do believe that this probably this is missing in a lot of our colleagues because unfortunately our colleagues, including the leaders, are always thinking that they are the best. They are always thinking that their solutions are the best solution, and sometimes we are wrong. I learned this a lot of times. Several times I went to the meeting, to the weekly meeting in my department with a fantastic idea, and at the end, my idea was not so fantastic. The idea of the others was much better than my idea. So this is crucial. We need to share, we need to discuss, and we need to share with the others our own position and try to learn with the others, in special with the youngs. I learned a lot with the youngs.
You mentioned leadership. In your opinion, what's the single most important quality a leader should possess, especially in the high pressure world of cardiology?
Honesty is particularly important. Well, what means honesty in my terms is to be true. This is my point. Right? When we discuss with the others, we should be true. We should be convinced with your position, of course, but you should be true, and you should to share with the others the truth. This is the most important thing. So, and the second one is to listen. This is more important. It is difficult in my life. The door of my office is always open. I never close my door. I only close my door for meetings. My door is always open for everybody, and everybody enter in my office always. And the fellow, the younger or the older senior, everybody, or nurses, or everybody can enter my office during the day, not knocking. So this is particularly important to listen to others and to be honest with our own truth.
Maintaining a healthy work-life balance is tough for many in our field. What strategies or practices have you found effective in managing both your career and personal life?
Ricardo, this is the most difficult question because this is very difficult because you are so absorbed with the profession that we forgot our own life. This is difficult to explain for others. This is particularly important for medical doctors and for people working in sciences. But this is absolutely true. Well, when I was young, in the beginning of my career, I spent all my life inside the hospital, trying to absorb everything, working with older colleagues, the more graduated people, trying to learn in every second. So at that time, we worked in the hospital 48 hours. We never fight against it. 48 hours is a full weekend. We start Saturday in the morning and we leave only on Monday in the afternoon. So trying to absorb everything. So here, our personal life is back. But when I achieved the leader position, okay, something changed. But then we assume a leadership position, you try to be everywhere because you are trying to respond to all invitations. Everybody is inviting you, not only in Portugal, but in other countries. Everybody wants your collaboration to lecture, to review a paper, to write a paper, to correct your slides. So it's the same. You are a leader. you got 50 or 60, you are always inside the hospital. You are spending hours and hours and hours with your profession. And once again, the personal life frequently is living in the back. Unfortunately, not being a priority. This is it's almost a shame when I say this, but this is the truth. Right? If you are really involved in your career, if you are really involved in your profession, you are in the beginning you are absorbing everything to learn and to learn and to learn, and the second part you are doing a lot of things because you are not you don't want to disappoint the others because the others are looking at you, at your position, at your idea. What is your thought about this? Please come here to my division. Please come here for a meeting. Let me invite you for a lecture in the Congress. Please correct this paper because I have a lot of difficulties. So, and when you look at this, you are fully, fully, fully involved, and your personal life is in back. Today, I recognize this issue. Probably I recognize this issue too late, but now I'm retired. I will try to compensate a little bit, but it's not this. It's not this. I think that it is the same during your entire life. This is my perspective.
What are your go-to tips or practical advice for young cardiology fellows looking to accelerate their careers and stand out in the field?
The first thing you should be good. What means it should be good? You should try to be always the best. So this means that you should be very well prepared in terms of science, very well prepared in terms of communication, not only communication with your peers, but also your patients. It is really important to develop good communication with our patients. We are losing this because currently the young fellows, the young generation, they are doing tremendous things. They are really fantastic, very well prepared. They are scientifically very well prepared, but we are losing this important part of our life in our career is to facilitate, to communicate not only with our colleagues, but particularly with our patients. And the third thing important is to continue developing new skills because we need to focus. You need to get the focus. In the beginning, as I mentioned before, okay, you are trying to fluctuate for different fields, but sometimes in our career, you should take a focus. Okay, what you are really interested to do is to be a professor, is to be a researcher, a basic researcher, is to be a good physician. Please, you should decide. And when you decide, you should focus on this focus that you decide. The other part is more personal. Please, Yanks, you should be patient to wait calm for the opportunities and for the career progress. Sometimes our young generation is trying to champion. I want to get my objectives very fastly. Jump and jump. No, no, don't do that. Please proceed, focus, but proceed in the calm manner because opportunities are coming. It's not coming today; they are coming tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So this is my personal advice.
Looking ahead now, how do you see the field of cardiology evolving in the next decade? What trends or advancements do you expect to shape the future of the specialty?
I don't have a crystal ball to anticipate the future, but the future is here. Every day, something new is happening every day, and you are building the future every day. And we know how difficult it is to follow the progress. However, there are important issues to be embraced by everybody. We are always discussing about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is coming so rapidly that we need to be adept. I'm always trying to think about artificial intelligence, and I'm trying to learn about artificial intelligence, because I do believe that artificial intelligence is changing our daily life in the future. And the future is here because today is happening new things in terms of artificial intelligence changing or contributing to change our practice. So I do believe that artificial intelligence can replace human being for diagnostic purposes in a lot of fields. Yes, we should adapt for that. And cardiologists will be more and more dedicated to technology, of course. But we always need doctors. We all need good doctors in a lot of activities. But we always need doctors to put emotion in our profession. So the computer is not prepared to deal with emotions, and the emotions is part of our life and is part of our practice. So in the future, we need very well prepared doctors. Artificial intelligence is changing a lot our daily practice, but please don't forget, we still need doctors to lay at the bedside of the patients and to put the hands on the hand of the patient. Please don't forget. If you forget this, our professional is losing probably one of the most important parts of our professional with emotion. We need to put emotion in our daily life. So it's my perspective.
Now, the last question. Can you share a book recommendation that you think would be valuable for our listeners, either professionally or personally?
Ricardo, I guess that your question is not about a scientific book.
Yeah, it's general book.
Of course not. No, of course not. Yes, and probably I think that this interview is to be listened not only by Portuguese but also by other guys in other countries. I would like to recommend a book writing by the Portuguese Nobel Prize for Literature, José Saramago. I enjoy very much José Saramago. One of the most striking books in Portuguese literature, in my view, is Memorial de Convento. Memorial de Convento is covering an important part of our history, the Portuguese history, then with the extraordinary talent of José Saramago. And it's a great opportunity, this book is a great opportunity to contact José Saramago, the Nobel Prize, and to try to look at José Saramago as one of the most outstanding Portuguese writers and European writers, or all over the world. He's one of the most important writers all over the world. So this is my recommendation, Memorial de Convento, José Saramago.
So that brings us to the end of today's insightful conversation with Professor João Morais. From overcoming career challenges to his thoughts on the future of cardiology, we've gained invaluable advice and inspiration. Thank you, Professor João Morais, for sharing your journey and expertise with us. And to our listeners, stay tuned for more episodes as we continue to bring you mentors and leaders who are shaping the future of medicine. Don't forget to subscribe and share this episode with your colleagues. Until next time, keep striving for excellence.